That is the worst video game film ever. Now, there are some criteria to this. Anything made by Uwe Boll is out. Because those are not so much films as much as tax dodges in the guise of films.
But Blood Rain had a very awesome sex scene.
I'm sure it did.
It was pretty dope.
But he didn't make the films to make good films. He made it because he knew he'd make more money with a failure than he would with a success.
It's almost too bad that Rampage is not a video game movie, because that is a good movie.
You know,
should redo the producer.
I don't know how they could do that.
Exactly, that's what people. Exactly,
Yeah,
that's what
like a
people were telling me
documentary.
earlier. It's like basically he like sort of fell into the plot of the producers and just ended up working.
Never left. He's still singing
Yeah.
the final number.
All right, so by the way, my name is Colin Kakamas. I'm a on-air talent with Castwave Studios. Sitting over here is Mark Denby, a former talent at Castwave Studios, but you know he's doing his own thing.
Yeah, I do me.
He do him. Anyway, so this discussion is about what is the worst video game film of all time. So obviously everybody's got a different opinion on this. I personally say it is the 1994 film Street Fighter.
Okay, why?
Okay, well,
Back it up.
well, okay, there's a couple different reasons. First and foremost, whatever Street Fighter film you've ever seen put out, whether it be Street Fighter or Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li, I believe is the correct title.
Oh, I remember that one!
Yeah.
I forgot that one happened.
Yeah.
I did too for a minute.
The problem is that any Street Fighter film, save maybe the Street Fighter 2 anime film,
Those were good.
Those were good.
they've never, a live-action Street Fighter film has never done Street Fighter correctly. They've always chosen one of the more neutral characters to be, I mean, Ryu, I think we can all agree, in the Street Fighter mythos, Ryu is probably the most neutral character of all.
He's on all the covers of the games.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying he's like,
He's the star.
his backstory is he goes, he fights, that's his deal.
I
Like
mean,
Chun-Li,
it's called Street Fighter. What do you want?
well, I mean, Chun-Li's an Interpol agent, Guile's a, U.S. Army commander, so they're like, that's exciting, let's go with that. And again, anybody who's played the Street Fighter games knows that Ryu is the main character of Street Fighter. He is the Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Am I incorrect? Anybody? No? Okay. So it's just irritating to see Ryu in this film dropped to a secondary comedic role as like the straight man to Ken's bumbling idiot. Which, again, unfortunately is what... Also, you have... The main hero is Guile, who's an American colonel played by a Belgian.
Stallone? Not Stallone.
No.
Who played?
No.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
That's right. I knew it was
Muscles
one of
from
them.
Brussels.
So Muscles from Brussels.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, just anybody who's seen that like that inspirational speech scene where he's just mumbling through, I'm gonna go get on my boat, I'm gonna go upriver, and I'm gonna kick that son of a bitch bison's ass so hard, the next bison wannabe is gonna feel it.
But Blanco was dope.
No, he wasn't.
How was he not?
No, because he didn't get to do anything.
He was in the movie for like, he
point.
was in human form for like 30 seconds, and then all you saw was just a random montage of clips, and then like literally you see him and he like kills one dude, and then he just turns into like a crying bitch.
Oh yeah, because
He's like, I can't go back down like this.
they brought him back with the power of friendship, I believe.
No,
It was a My Little Pony spinoff. We're getting there. We're gonna make Street Fighter the movie good.
Oh, right.
I would love,
Yes.
I would love to make Street Fighter the movie good. It's just at this point, no, with the two failures that are on the table right now, Street Fighter and Street Fighter: Legend of Chun-Li, I don't think anybody's gonna be willing to do
Dude,
that.
third time's the charm.
At least for maybe another decade. At least another decade before they might go back to the well and reboot. But also, there's that. And then one saving grace for Street Fighter, in my opinion. There is a line that it is delivered, and it is quite frankly the funniest thing I've ever seen in a video game related film. So, who here has seen Street Fighter the movie? Raise your hands. Show of hands. Okay. Do you guys remember when they're at the weapons bazaar and like they're about to kill Ken and Ryu, and then they hear that muffled message in the container, and it's Chun-Li, E Honda, and Balrog, which all three of them are inexplicably working together because we got to move the plot along, and it's too much of a hassle to introduce these characters separately. So they open it up, and you see the truck start to trundle down towards their tent, loaded with explosives, and it's like they're looking back at the feed, they're looking outside the tent, and then out of nowhere, Zangief's just like, "Quick, change the channel!" And people are just like,
Oh God,
the fuck?
that's the line.
It is without a doubt probably the best delivered line in that film, and that's pretty sad.
Well, there's that, and then there was Tuesday. I mean, that line was pretty good too.
Okay,
No, I like
that
one.
I would say Zangief's line is better, but that's still pretty. That is, I mean, just the way that Rod Julia does that, just without breaking character, like you could not give less of a fuck about Chun-Li's backstory. It's just ugh. Oh, Rod Julia, and this was Rod Julia's last film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice when you hear the story because he was like, I took this film because he chose all his roles, but as he was dying, he just had less, and he was like, I'm more worried about, I'm not as worried about my career as I once was. So he let his kids choose his last role, and that's why he did M. Bison. That's the only reason. And then, obviously you got that end credits sequence where he punches out of the monitor. I'm like, okay,
they set up for a sequel.
They set up for a sequel.
They set up for our sequel.
Yeah.
My Little Pony meets Street Fighter.
Well, I'm wondering why they even
Games.
included that cut sequence when Rod Julia died before the movie was released.
Didn't he write that script in like 19 hours?
Yeah, Stephen D'Souza. Yeah, by the way, if you ever want to listen to something crazy, listen to Stephen D'Souza's background commentary in the Street Fighter DVD. He literally admits that he wrote the script in 19 hours. Not wrote the first draft, sent it to somebody in 19 hours. He wrote the finished product and handed it to the producers in 19 hours.
That's one of the more fascinating things about the movies because his resume
That's the
was
only
good
fascinating thing
for
about it.
action.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's probably the only
That's all we
fascinating
know.
thing about this movie. Now, I know what Mark's gonna say. Mark's gonna say that Doom
Doom is pretty bad.
Doom is bad.
Doom is bad.
I'm not arguing that.
But it's so much fun.
It is.
See,
At
that's
least
what I'm saying.
it's
It's
fun.
It's a
enjoyably
fun
bad.
movie that jump-started The Rock's career, and much
Oh,
like
yeah.
wrestling, he buried everybody else in that movie. It's fantastic.
Well, Carl Urban.
Well, that's true.
Carl
You
Urban
wanted to
got-
judge
Carl,
Dredd.
he went on to do
Judge
Dredd,
Dredd.
so I think we
We
give
can
him
talk
that.
about how Resident Evil started good and ended garbage.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's the thing, though. I mean,
Yeah.
and that's if you talk about Resident Evil, then we're lumping a whole series of films together. This is about the singular worst film.
Oh.
All right, so let me open it up to the audience here. All right, so throw me some ideas here. I want to hear your opinions. Worst video game film ever. All right, go.
Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
That movie was
yeah.
great, you get out.
No.
That movie was fantastic.
Literally the only movie in my entire life where the audience got up and left before the movie was even
Well,
over.
they also have bad taste, and I'm glad they're not here.
I mean, to be fair, I mean there's some dynamite crap lines in that film. Too bad you will die.
That movie was fantastic.
I saw that movie 4 times in the theater.
See, this guy knows
4
what's up.
times.
He
Oh my
spent his
God.
money to see this movie 4 times. This dude knows what's up.
I mean,
hero we
did you
deserve.
just have a bunch of ticket vouchers you had to burn off? Was it?
I was like 7 years old and I was like, Mortal Kombat's on the big screen.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I'll admit, I saw Mortal Kombat Annihilation in theaters, and I'm just.
I own both copies on DVD.
Ugh.
There's two copies.
Yeah, they have the
Oh yeah, it's
first
the
one.
Walmart DVD pack.
Yeah, no, it is. You like, I'm not even it is. Yeah. You got the first one with it, and then you get the second one with it, and you
Okay.
get to see it go from really cool to why did you really make the second? I don't know. And then they made the animated series, which was dope.
I mean, animated
The animated
series
series was
yeah.
great.
Well, okay, so here's my thing about Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
That's a 90s
That is
thing.
definitely a bad film. I am not arguing that by any stretch of the imagination. But what I will say is that what Mortal Kombat Annihilation has going for it is that it stuck way closer to the source material than, say, Street Fighter or Doom did.
That's fair.
I'm
Yeah,
not
that's
saying,
fair.
again, I'm not saying they did it justice. I'm saying they looked at it and they were like, okay, this is a bunch of crazy shit. And a lot of it's pretty cool, so we can keep it. Whereas, Street Fighter is just like, make a Belgian-American commando, make a Raul Julia, even though he's 95 pounds and riddled with cancer. Let's make him a giant Thai warlord.
Yeah.
That works. Ugh.
Annihilation also had the incredible, not bestiality. What is it?
Animality.
Animality. Yeah.
Oh my God, that
Where
scene.
Liu Kang turned into that epic
Liu Kang-
dragon.
Liu Kang turned into
Buff as
like
shit. It was great.
that, and then when what did Shao Kahn turn?
He turned into a
like,
Hydra for some
Hydra,
reason.
Yeah, he turned into a Hydra, and then his
I think
dad
it
turned into a
Hercules
piece
showed
of origami when they lost.
No, that's because the other gods showed up.
I know the plot
What?
of the film.
You're making it sound like it had all these plot holes. Granted, it had a good bit, but not a lot.
Like, yeah, why did Raiden turn human? Like,
He had to sacrifice his god powers to give the humans a chance in... I'm done. I'm over it.
Melons.
Melons, yeah.
Yeah, because melons.
Now we're getting into Avatar territory.
ugh.
Oh no.
Well, that was a
No.
video game.
We don't talk about M. Night Shyamalan. I'm sorry.
Why hasn't he done... Okay, so Yui Bowl, terrible at everything. Why hasn't M. Night Shyamalan given us a video game movie?
Because M. Night Shyamalan still purports himself to be a director, whereas Uwe Boll has embraced I don't give a fuck about what people think of me. I'm trying to make money for myself. I'm not trying to make quality material.
Aw, Yui.
Oh, by the way, for those of you who didn't show up at the beginning of this panel, Uwe Boll films are stricken from this discussion.
So Blood Rain's out?
Yeah, it's
Right? Again!
Okay.
This dude knows what's up!
Okay, no. The reason why is because, let's be honest here, all Uwe Boll films are tax dodges, not made to be entertaining. They're
That's
made
pretty
because...
accurate.
Yeah, see?
That's
He knows
pretty
what he's
accurate.
talking about.
Okay, yes, he does. Alright, they all know what they're talking about.
All
I
right,
don't know
but
what I'm talking about.
don't involve me in this.
But Blood Rain has come up twice. Out of all the Yui Bowl films that he has done and we have watched, Blood Rain has come up twice. So that's got to put it somewhere.
Okay, I'll
His
admit...
best film.
I'll admit...
No.
I'll admit on record it had a banging sex scene.
It did.
But that's all I'm giving it. That's
His
all
best
I'm giving
porn
it.
film.
There you
Yeah. There you go. Yui Bowl should just do softcore video game porn.
There you
There's a whole
go.
market for that. I've been on Reddit.
Yeah, you can go on Pornhub and get that. Probably much better quality.
Probably just
Anyway.
figures at this point.
Alright, so Star Trek, alright, so if I was to rank it right now, I would honestly go Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Armageddon. Alright, anybody else got it?
Annihilation.
I'm sorry, I said Armageddon, I meant Annihilation, sorry, thank you.
It
Sorry,
felt like
Annihilation.
Armageddon watching it.
Alright, anybody else got, alright, so I know one of
Mario
the,
Brothers is pretty
I knew people were gonna bring that up.
Everybody's got a hate on Super Mario Brothers.
Honestly, no, okay, I understand the reasoning because
Oh yeah, definitely.
when
Totally.
you're a kid and it's 1993,
Jesus Christ, we're old.
yeah.
Uh,
In 1993, the Super Nintendo is riding high, and you've played the shit out of Mario 1, 2, 3, Super Mario World, all the Game Boy games, and you hear there's a Super Mario Brothers film coming out. You are excited as hell, and then you go to the theater opening day and you watch this film, and you're like, what?
It had John Leguizamo.
It just happened.
It had John Leguizamo. And
John Leguizamo was a great Luigi.
I'm not disagreeing that the actor's performance is
Thank you.
bad. I'm
Thank
just
you.
saying no film has ever come closer to
I
they were
agree.
like
They were both great.
9/10 of their main cast off. Yeah.
Like in the
Like-
show?
In the film?
The movie?
Yeah, and during production, Bob Hoskins was electrocuted, broke a couple ribs, broke a thumb.
No shit.
Yeah, he
Holy
he sustained major injuries. Both him and John Leguizamo have gone on to say that that film was the absolute worst thing they ever had to work on.
That says a lot because John Leguizamo was in Gamer.
Yeah. He was in
that film.
Gamer, he's in a bunch of bad stuff. I'm just
He
saying.
played Clown in Spawn, which was great.
He was.
He was Clown in Spawn.
Hey Wanda, what do you think of my little head?
I love it.
Ugh,
I
the
love
worst. Ugh, but no, Super Mario Brothers, I mean, it does have some elements to it that I find enjoyable.
it. Like the Goombas with their little lizard heads.
yeah, that's
Yeah, right? Yeah. There you
The
go.
Goombas
Goombas are
dancing in the
lizards.
elevator to this day. No matter how many times I've seen that film, just like da, 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 I still crack the hell up.
But
Yeah.
the atmosphere, sparks everywhere.
Oh no!
Yeah, it was
I'm
great.
not saying that by any stretch of the. None of these films are ever gonna. I'm gonna say on record that they are good films.
I
The best I can say is it entertained me for blank reasons. I'm not saying that they're not most again. The closest one that comes anywhere near being faithful to the source material is the Mortal Kombat films. Barely.
So what's your positive spin on Tomb Raider? Other than her movies, other than that.
Daniel Craig was in it. That's
Was
all.
he?
That's
Oh,
he
in
was
the
in the
second
first.
one.
In the
He was
in the first one, right?
I like your dog.
Daniel Craig was in the first one.
Yeah,
I believe he was in the
Yes,
second.
Yeah, but I can't
Daniel Craig was in
remember
the
a
first
damn
one.
thing
Oh,
about
okay.
Daniel Craig was in the first one. That's the only positive thing I can say. I enjoyed Daniel Craig's performance because he was Bond-esque before Bond.
He doesn't want to do, but he's so mad about Bond.
What are you talking about?
He's going to do it again, but he went on record to say he would rather slit his wrist than play Bond again.
Yeah, and then they
And
had
then they
a
gave
check
him
for a
that
couple
fucking check.
million dollars, and he's like, alright, fuck it.
This is so much better than slitting my wrist.
Yeah, it's just like, well, there goes my artistic integrity.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, okay, Super Mario Brothers, okay. Okay,
On the ground.
it ranks, Super Mario Brothers ranks high on the list for a couple
Oh, I
different
heard
reasons.
that.
A, obviously, they almost killed like a couple of their main characters while they were shooting the thing. Secondly, it was directed by people who had absolutely no directorial experience. They were music video editors and directors
That
before
explains
this
the
film.
Koopa scene.
Bro, it explains a lot of what went on in that film. Like you look at the club scene and it's just so weird. It looks like a really shitty 1990s music video.
The transportation where they're going to the world.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Where was the music video?
Yeah, it's all bad. Oh, sorry. What you were
I
gonna
was gonna say, did any of the stars have knowledge of the source material? I don't think any of them did.
I think it
John was
was.
a gamer, I think. I think he played it.
I think it was Hoskins. I think it was Hoskins and Hopper both had children at the time who had played the games, and I think they were again. If you ever become an actor and you're handed a script for a video game film and your kids are like, Dad, you should totally do this, throw it in their faces, walk away, because it will not end well for you.
No, little Teddy!
Well, again, that goes back to the Resident Evil movies. That ended up being a family project with Mila Jovovich, the director, and their little girl played the Red Queen in the last
And like
movie.
you said at the beginning of this
I didn't know it was
panel,
a little
Resident Evil started off
Started
great.
and it ended like garbage.
Ugh.
And they're
Okay.
gonna reboot
Is
it.
it over?
It was.
I hope
It
it's
should
It's
over.
over.
be.
Yeah, no,
No,
it's
the
over.
fourth film was literally Resident Evil 5.
Well, no, I think they're on like their 7th film at this
No,
point.
they're done.
Oh,
They're done.
They're done.
They're not.
done.
Thank you, Lord.
They've talked about rebooting it, but they're
No,
done.
no.
If they reboot it, they gotta reboot it right.
No. I'm just saying. All right. So honestly, right now, if you wanted to rank them, I'd say Street Fighter it's still the worst. Still the worst.
What about Assassin's Creed? Is it just boring?
Oh, we forgot
I
about
haven't seen it.
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah,
It's
us and the
literally
rest of
shit all
America.
over
Is it bad or
the series.
But then to be fair, the source material was pretty boring too.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to
I mean,
do
well,
it.
that's the other thing. It's one of those films that they take core tenets from the source material, but they don't do much else with it. Which honestly, I would if Michael Fassbender played. I mean, again, he's a little too English / German / whatever ethnic group he's
They
in.
started the white part.
I don't think. I mean, honestly, he's. I would rather have seen Ezio as a main character in the Assassin's Creed film
Yeah.
than whatever sidekick
Or a
character.
different character.
Anything else.
If they did Ezio, it almost would make sense why they did Michael Fassbender.
Yeah. Okay, I can
You
see that.
can be white and Italian. It's really hard to be white and in the middle of
Northern Italian. It could be pulled off to say the least. But
middle of
also,
exactly. with that
Ezio
said.
is honestly probably one of the more interesting characters in the Assassin's Creed mythos. So I could go with an Ezio film or an Ezio trilogy. Oh wait, you got a question in the back.
I'm sorry, I just walked in. Are we just not talking about the bowl movies?
Oh, actually, okay. So this is the second time I've ever read this. We have excised the bowl movies from this conversation because
why nobody is.
no, it's all right. No, trust me, it's come up.
That could
You're
have
good.
its own panel.
Yeah, honestly, I'm going on record saying that bowl films don't count because bowl films are tax dodges.
Yeah,
That's
all
it.
right, they're not.
But we have
Thank you.
agreed that Blood Rain can make the list because it came up twice for that awesome sex scene.
I mean, that's the thing though. If Blood Rain's on the list, Blood Rain's at the top,
Yeah.
which I'm
Yeah.
not giving it.
Yeah.
I'm not giving it that. It's on the list, but
Okay,
it's just
let's just do this just for
an
fun.
honorable mention. We'll
Let's
give it an
just
honorable
go
mention.
into the Yui Bowl films.
No!
Just for a second.
No.
We got
We'll have a
Blood
5-minute
Rain.
limit.
No.
We got Blood Rain. We got Far Cry. What else did he do? Blood Rain, Far Cry.
Wasn't there something called Dead or Alive?
There is a
They
Far
do
Cry
Dead or
movie?
Alive.
It was a Far Cry movie?
Yeah, it was a Far Cry movie.
The way you did
Oh,
all the other
really?
movies.
Because you people watch Texas, you can't
Yeah, look, it's I don't know, Far Cry.
Everyone's like pulling out their phones like, really? Oh my god.
Hold
I
on.
believe it was
Hold on,
Far
Blood
Cry.
Rain.
I believe it got like.
If given enough time and money, I would set up an elaborate Saw-like contraption and tell Uwe Boll to produce a good film where he dies.
Might as well just shoot
But
it.
unfortunately, we live in a normal society, so I can't do that.
Would that be a documentary?
Oh no, I'm not even going down that route.
Anyways,
Anyway.
Silent Hill. Silent Hill.
Silent Hill was great. You can leave.
Okay, so
Silent Hill's
Okay.
amazing.
The second one then. Second one is.
Okay, alright, yeah.
Okay.
The second one was kind of shitty.
Yeah.
yeah, okay. I'd go. All right, so we went top 5. I'd say I'd say Silent Hill
With 1
2.
being the worst?
1 being the worst, 5 being the
Less
not
less
as
worse.
worst. Yeah,
Okay.
not as.
So what are your 5? What are your 5?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So.
And your 5, that's too
He's got to prep himself.
That's better.
Yeah,
That's
it's
better.
it's all right. So I would definitely say to me, Street Fighter's at the top.
Or start from 5 to 1.
All right, start at 5 and 1. All right, I would say Silent Hill 2 because Silent Hill was good and Silent Hill 2 was not great, but you know honestly, Silent Hill 2 was kind of forgettable for me. So I
Yeah.
think I can give it number 5 because there's just not enough to piss me off in it. There just isn't. So Silent Hill 2 would be number 5. Number 4.
5 the best.
5 is the not
Least worst.
Okay.
Least worst, thank you. 5 is the least worst. So Silent Hill 2. Number 4.
Doom.
I mean, Doom's.
You didn't like the first person part of that? Come on.
That was the only part I liked.
That was the only
Oh, and at the end, when The Rock got really mad and he was like, Semper Fi, motherfucker. I don't even think he knows what that means. He was just The Rock being The Rock. It was great. And he's gonna be in the new Rampage movie, I think. Or not Rampage. What's
I was
he
gonna say,
be
please
in?
no.
Be a Rampage Jumanji.
Jumanji. He's
Oh,
in Jumanji, and he also wants to do. What was the game? when
That
you-
one's a board game.
You had to climb the buildings as like the giant ape.
Rampage.
Yeah, he is doing a
You're
Rampage
right.
movie. He wants to do a Rampage movie.
Okay.
He's pushing hard to do a Rampage movie. He's pushing hard.
The Rock, the new Yule Ball.
Yeah.
And I can sing.
Okay, so what's your fourth one?
Alright, so 4 would probably have to be, see, I'm torn because Street Fighter Legend of Chun-Li is pretty bad. Alright, so,
I watched that because I was really hoping she was going to have those thick thighs.
Not
She
that it was,
didn't have those thick thighs.
not that it was,
That was the only thing wrong with the movie.
not that it was sold as
No.
Double Dragon!
Double Dragon.
Oh my god!
Oh god!
That movie sucks.
Oh!
We were supposed to
have
have
to redo
those
your list?
outfits.
Okay, no, it's definitely on there. Okay, so.
That's a
Alright,
game
Wait,
changer.
Alright,
we
so-
were supposed to have those outfits in Double Dragon, like now. Those were supposed to come about like 3 years ago. We still don't. I want the hat.
Mhm.
The hat that dude was wearing, I want it. I need it in my life.
Okay, so Double Dragon is definitely on the list. Okay, so alright, I'd say Silent Hill 2. I guess Super Mario Bros. Would now be pushed to 4th.
Ooh. Double Dragon was that bad?
Damn.
Oh my god,
Have
have
you
you
seen?
seen
I'm
it?
sorry. Have you seen Double Dragon?
I'm not arguing. It's just
No, okay. So
Dragon's amazing.
Thank you.
Get out.
there's a fan, at least one
So-
fan for each bad movie we've
So yeah, I mean, yeah. Let's be honest here. None of these are like there are enjoyable bits to every one of these films. I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying overall experiences they are garbage. So Street Fighter's number 1. I would honestly say Double Dragon would be number 2. It's pretty bad.
It didn't beat
Mortal Kombat Armageddon.
Annihilation.
Whatever.
Do I have to write it down?
No, it's shit. Who
It
cares?
doesn't matter.
I'm not writing down shit.
Yeah.
I'm not giving the movie justice. Christopher Lambert wasn't in the movie. Who gives a fuck?
That's
Christopher
fair.
Lambert was not. Yeah,
Not
he was
in
in
the
the first
sequel.
one.
Not in the second one. He was in the
Yeah,
first
that's what I'm
one.
saying.
Neither
That
was the
James
old
Remar.
Blade actress.
Yeah, they changed. They literally had a really good cast that worked great together in the first movie, and then they just
Great
fucking
together.
changed all of it in the second one.
They
Yep.
killed off Johnny Cage.
They killed
Like at the
Johnny.
beginning, like at the start.
Yeah. I would have been fine if they had killed Johnny Cage like in the final battle.
Yeah.
Like, okay, if you had to kill off a character, I mean, well, honestly, I would say kill off Sonya because.
No.
I'm just saying, out of the three characters,
I agree with you on that one.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, that's my list.
They also had a tiny guy playing Shao Kahn.
They did. Yeah, they did.
It's pretty bad.
Oh, what's up?
So, I mean, like, that was the end of the list, right?
That was his.
That was my
His
list.
Alright, well, I just
He's-
wanted to bring up one really quick that I think was kind of more forgettable than absolutely terrible, but the Ratchet and Clank movie.
I didn't even know that existed.
There was a Ratchet.
It's Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Animated.
It came out.
Right,
Yeah, look
it's
this up.
animated. We're doing
It was
only
part
live
of the
actions,
original
right?
Yeah, animated counts, right?
No,
I
animated
mean,
counts,
if it's
but
bad, yeah, it
I,
counts.
I will admit I have not seen the Ratchet and Clank movie.
I didn't know it existed, so I will
So-
be watching it now.
So you know,
Right now?
check back with us at
Not right now.
check
It
back
was
with us at
boring.
Super Mag. We might have an updated list for you. Just saying.
It wasn't
All right,
Alright, so we're
so
doing my list.
It's,
So let's-
it's
let's-
like stereotypical.
let's do yours.
So what is it? One is the one
It's-
that I hate.
one is the
most.
worst,
Okay.
and 5 is the least worst. So if you want to
Okay.
start with the one you hate the least, but still hate.
Okay. The
Okay.
one that I hate the least, but like, still really
Of your
would be
bottom
Resident
5.
Evil 2. I don't hate that movie because it actually stuck good to kind of the source material, very loosely. So I would say Resident Evil
2.
2. Yeah, the
Okay.
first one was amazing.
Well, I'm not disagreeing with
so-
that.
Oh no, I was like 5, so now 4.
I haven't seen.
Okay.
I stopped watching after 3 because I was just.
No, he was holding
Three
on
was
because
like
you're
three
already
was garbage.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. So now I'm going to 4.
Try and keep up.
I'm trying to keep up. I'm doing my best. So okay. So Resident Evil 2. 4 would be Doom, I think.
Wow, I thought you thought Doom was the worst.
No, I like Doom because it's a fun movie.
Yeah.
I've watched it once and that's enough. I will never watch it again. So it's at least 4.
Okay,
At least 4.
fair enough. All right.
Dude, the first movie would be Blood Rain. It only had the sex scene.
Doesn't count.
Oh, that's right, because we can't do Yui Bowl.
Curse my arbitrary rules.
Yeah,
Fuck you, it's my panel.
We do have more people, so now we're repeating you, Ball.
Like,
Oh yeah, just a heads up. Uwe Bill films don't count. They're tax dodges, not films. So
yeah, apparently.
just to get it on record again for the
Oh,
fourth
okay,
time.
no, I'm gonna change it.
All right.
4 would be Silent Hill.
Silent Hill 2 or Silent Hill?
The first one, because I like it.
First one was.
So,
Well, no, you like the
Right,
films.
right.
You want the one you hate, not the one you like.
So wouldn't the one that I like be number 5 and the one that I hate be number 1?
No, the one you hate the least.
The one that I hate the least.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Although
then
if you
the
hate
other
the
one-
least, then you hate the most. So if you like Silent Hill, it shouldn't even be on the list.
So these are just movies, so, okay, alright. Well then, I don't even need 5. I just need one movie that I hate with a fucking passion.
All right, go with
That I
that.
will never, ever, ever watch again.
All right, so let's hear it. What is the
Okay.
film you hate the most?
That I hate the absolute most, that I will never watch
Lean in,
again,
because everyone.
is literally that
He's
Chun
burying
movie.
the lead here.
Literally, this, I
So
read-
okay, we're on record. Street Fighter films, the absolute fucking worst.
Because I
Okay.
went to
good.
Blockbuster, because that's how old I am, and I was that's a dated sentence, and I was super excited because I was like, oh, it's a Street Fighter movie. I really like Street Fighter. Oh, it's Chun-Li. She's got thick thighs. This movie's going to be great. I went home and I got it. She was an Interpol agent that kicked like maybe 4 guys, and that was like the end. Like that was it. There was just talking. Literally every expectation I had for that movie gone. As soon as I put it in my DVD player, just out. So that Chun-Li movie, that would be the one that I hate the most, and I will never watch again.
Also, M. Bison, an Irish dude.
Yeah, and his gun.
I like Street
Psycho
Fighter.
Crusher is.
No. I'm talking.
Oh yeah, no, in that movie, yeah. It was all garbage.
Neil McDonough. I was like, why?
They shouldn't have done it.
Hey, quick, take
Taking
it down.
Gomez Adams.
That's exactly what I said. The one saving grace of the Street Fighter film is that one line delivered by Zangief. Everything else, wrong. Wrong. And I know I'm hitting the mics and I apologize.
You're
but
just
still.
so into it, man.
I hate that movie. I hate it so much. There's so many things wrong with it. Why is it the AN and not the UN? The UN is not going to sue you over usage in a film. They don't care.
They might.
It's right.
Why would they get a frickin' Belgian to play an American colonel? Why would you take the main character of your video game franchise and turn him into a one-note joke? Why?
I mean,
Why would you take Chun-Li, who's an Interpol agent who kicks major ass, and turn her into a reporter? And then says, oh, she's a secret badass at the last possible second.
yeah, she didn't even have thick thighs.
You're
Don't get me
really
wrong.
sour about those
I
guys.
am, because
They got a Chinese
They're her
person to play it.
defining feature in that game.
That's her character is thick thighs that can kick holes through walls.
Seriously.
She didn't do none of that shit.
Her thighs are bigger than her waist in the sprite's
Yeah.
thighs are bigger than her waist.
Yeah.
Do you
if she had thick thighs, would that improve your rating of the movie overall?
Yes.
Yes. Only because
it would be more faithful to the source material, which Street Fighter and Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li are absolutely not.
If you had
That's
to
fair.
get humans to play that, that's not a common.
I've seen CGI. No, they could have done. They could have done something.
No.
Just
But
put
it's
it-
expensive special effect. You know, Chun-Li style.
They didn't have the money to. Yeah, they didn't have the money to afford it. So somebody said Assassin's
Avatar.
Creed.
Oh.
Someone said
Oh,
Assassin's
the
Creed.
other. Okay,
I
yeah.
do like the fact that Assassin's Creed literally kind of started the whole whitewashing thing for movies.
They didn't start it. Are we strictly?
I can testify to that.
Now, to be fair, let me get a reiteration on this. Are you strictly speaking in terms of video game films, or because they'd be whitewashing way before
Yeah, they
that
were doing
shit?
it way before that. But
Maybe it's like the starting of like commentary about it, at least in the mainstream media about. Like that's when people.
I
was
would say no, it was way
I
before
would
that.
think a little bit
that way.
Because
Like more
I could be
mainstream
wrong,
talk.
but Avatar came out. Avatar, the last
Yeah,
Airbender
you're right.
came
No,
out.
no,
It did, so you're right, it did.
Okay.
But it didn't pick up really well until everybody was like, wait a minute, why is Michael Fassbender playing a dude that should be like it should look like you! Like, it should look like you!
I would love to be the guy in Assassin's Creed.
I mean, yeah.
Well, I mean, all right. So
Did anyone see Dead or Alive?
Oh, man.
Did anyone see Tekken?
Wasn't that a Huey ball?
Yes.
wasn't that a Uwe Boll film?
I don't know. I can look it up.
Quickly, somebody to IMDb.
Was there a Tekken film? Somebody
Yeah,
said
there
there
was.
was a Tekken film?
Oh,
It
Tekken
sucked
films.
ass.
A
I
Tekken
didn't
film.
know that existed.
If we expanded the list to a top 10, you're damn right Tekken would be on that list. Because again, it's any film based off of a fighting game is automatically going to go on the list
Yeah.
because again, they
They're
don't stick to
bad.
they can't stick to the source material because yeah, it may be ridiculous, but it's just like they have to work it in a way. It's like, well, there's an evil crime syndicate and they're running a fighting tournament. Yeah, that totally makes sense.
I want to see a
What's up?
Killer Instinct movie.
Is it too early?
Yes!
Yes.
Yes, I would totally be down for that.
Fighting game.
Well, I'm sorry. All right, we got questions.
I haven't seen them, but I know there's a Phoenix Wright movie and a series of Dead Rising movies.
Wait, whoa, hold on.
I
I'm
think
sorry.
the Dead
Dead
Rising
Rising.
ones are animated.
No,
No, animated films count, but again, I have not seen them, so I can't
Yeah.
I can't
I've
say
seen
whether
Dead
they're
Rising.
bad or not.
Have
But
you seen it?
It's
kind of short, right?
Yeah.
Japanese.
They're Japanese. They're
Are they on
Japan.
YouTube?
Oh.
And the Phoenix Wright movie is as well.
I'm gonna have to check those. I didn't even know there was a Phoenix. Is it a full length or are they short films?
I think that, no,
movie is full length.
No,
yeah.
Oh, really?
I'm gonna have to check that out then. Thank you for
Live
bringing that to my
action, live
attention.
action.
Right movie, you can find it. It's pretty easy. It's subtitled.
I like the subtitle.
I'm excited.
on my list.
Oh yeah, we got some new movies to
Well,
watch.
It's not a Louis Bowl movie.
It's not an Uwe Boll movie?
No, it's Corey Yuen.
Yeah. It looks
Huh.
At least it's not Huey ball.
Yeah, they said not Huey Boll, so I'm down.
Ah, okay.
It looks bad. though.
Okay, wait, so do we want to put that on the list?
If you haven't seen it, you
Yeah,
can't
you
put it
haven't
on the
seen it.
list.
Can't judge it if we haven't seen it. That's fucked up.
I know, I'm saying when we go back and we do this for Mag,
It
for
got
Super Mag.
33 on Rotten Tomatoes. That's higher than most of those other ones.
That's true.
Alright,
Alright, so
So we should watch it.
Alright, so we've thrown out a lot here.
We need to watch these movies, and then at Mag Prime we need to revise our list.
Okay.
But I do want to know what's your favorite video game movie.
Is there one?
Yeah. After what we've discussed, I don't think he has one.
Can such a thing exist?
Okay.
Half-Life 3.
Now the problem.
No.
Alright, here's my problem.
movie.
See, that's the thing, because we've gone through I think we've gone through most video game films that we've discussed at this point. I think we've hit them all. So really, if I was to say what is my favorite video game film, I'd have to take a film that is, its premise is based on or is somewhat involved with video games.
Gamer?
No,
Oh, I know which one you're gonna say.
Really?
Yeah.
Alright, let me hear it.
Is it Scott Pilgrim versus the World?
That's actually, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is probably one of my favorite comic book films.
Yeah, it's a
Oh,
comic
you're right.
film.
It is a comic.
Yeah.
No, but it does very heavily lean on video games because obviously it's about a 20-something, which it plays pretty heavily into the culture.
Knives Chow.
Yeah.
Made that
Honestly,
creepy, it's great.
if you talk about a film that's even rooted in video games, which I would have to go to at this point since I've pretty much shit on every other one,
Yeah.
I would say it'd probably be a tie between Tron and The Last Starfighter.
The second Tron was crap.
That's why I didn't say the second one. I said, I mean, honestly, because Tron obviously is set in video game. It's basically set in a video
Daft
game
Punk
landscape.
Yeah.
Whereas The Last Starfighter is effectively Galaga the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, unless there's a better game to compare it to. Anybody?
Max Payne?
No.
Holy shit, no! I love Max Payne, only because Mark Wahlberg plays Mark Wahlberg, and it's great. Mark Wahlberg just plays an angry guy that punches things. And he speaks all cryptic, like Mark Wahlberg actually does. It's great. I love it.
See how you win.
It's just like
Basically, yeah, you could have replaced the title of that film, Max Payne, with just Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, and I still would love it.
Boston guy.
Literally, the best scene.
Okay,
Hey,
so
aren't you a cop?
all right,
That's
so
right.
we're talking about favorite video game films now, just because we're only happy. So your favorite is Max Payne?
No.
Okay, what's your favorite?
Did you say yours?
Yeah.
What was it?
I said it was tied between Tron and The Last Starfighter.
That's fair. Okay. All right. So my favorite video game movie would be the first Resident Evil.
Okay.
Yes, because it stuck to the source material.
To a point.
To a point. Very loosely, but to a point. And I like the way that it's set up for them to do another Resident Evil movie where they could have done it really well by just doing the Resident Evil 2 game. They had just made the Resident Evil 2 game, Resident Evil 2 the movie, it would have been fantastic.
That's true.
But no, they took 3 and threw in some other bullshit, and there you go.
There's a lot of first movies that were good, like Silent Hill, Resident Evil, Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
And then they're like, hey, let's not do this good stuff anymore.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's just, at a certain point, like, someone will be like, hey, this video game is really good, and people seem to like it. Let's write a script on it. And they'll write the script, and the script will be pretty close to the source material. And then they'll take it to the studio, and the studio will be like, yeah, we're interested, but we're gonna need to change this, and about 100,000 revisions later, you have what we get in theaters. And unfortunately, they kind of take all the fantasy out of it, which is the problem.
Speaking on that, there was the whole Five Nights at Freddy BS thing, and Scott Cawthon kind of like took it away from them to like remake it so it looks good for him. So that's.
Do you think that'll make it bad though?
No. So think of like the Five Nights at Freddy's as being like your new Jason and your new quotes as like what it was back then. It's like your new Jason, your new Freddy's, in the sense that like kids like it because it's a quick, easy jump scare. And then like the quote unquote lore is okay.
But you can only do so much with a movie
you can.
around jump scares.
Yeah.
Like at a point, I get pissed off because I'm tired of getting jump scares.
I think it can be. I think it can be good because it was gonna be released like sometime next year, and then Scott Cawthon's like, this script looks like shit.
Yeah.
And then he's gonna redo the whole script, which is.
Since Scott Cawthon he is basically, like, he's not going through an intermediary, he owns the source material.
Yeah.
They have to go through him to make this film. He's probably put in at least 100 different writers in his contract saying, probably giving him at least a sizable amount of creative control, which hopefully, if he's smart, he'll utilize, like you said, and he'll be like, yeah, the script is not at par, send it back and give me a better one.
I think, from what I expect, it's just being okay horror film. It's not bad, it's not good, but it's okay.
I mean, there are plenty of good horror films. I mean, horror
films, yeah, I don't.
Because, you got your splatter gore, you got all that.
Yeah, and you got your, like, slashers.
Okay, so, alright, so.
Has anyone seen Need for Speed?
Well, which one's that? The one with
That's
Jesse?
the one with the cars that go really fast.
I know.
I was just trying to help.
It's the one with Jesse from Breaking Bad, right?
Yeah.
Right? Alright, so yeah, I did see that one, and that was enjoyable. Like, that wasn't bad.
There's only so much you can do with cars.
Exactly, yeah. There's only so much you can do
look
with
at
that
Fast and the
premise.
Furious. They basically now break out of prison and punch each other. There's like no cars.
As a family!
As a family! I'm the Rock! Alright, so
I don't know who's worse in that movie, The Rock or
The
Vin
Rock.
Diesel. No, I don't know, man. Vin Diesel's pretty bad.
That's fair. He was the bomb and transport.
As a family.
So, okay, what game, so since we got a little bit of time, what game do you want to see Yui Bowl make? What game do you want to see get turned into a good video game movie.
Okay.
I emphasize good because, I mean, we don't have that many, so.
Okay.
Or remade.
Yeah, or remade.
See, now I'm gonna feel bad because I've spent.
Are you gonna say The Sims?
No, I was
That would be amazing.
That'd be
though, if
a
done
great.
well.
That would be a great take on like making fun of a reality series. Like anybody seen like Bajillion Dollar Properties or there are a couple other shows. They basically take a premise from a reality TV show and they just parody the shit out of it. I would love to see that sort of thing, but set in the Sims universe. That would be hilarious.
It'd be like Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Except you can control the Kardashians.
Yeah.
Oh God.
And just make their lives
They're all
awful.
going in the swimming pool and I'm taking away the ladder.
You can rename their baby too.
Yeah.
Okay, so is Sims,
Okay,
is Sims
so
your
no,
answer?
no. Sims is not my answer. It was brought up. I was trying to. All right. What I was gonna say is, I feel bad because I basically spent about 45 minutes at this point shitting on Street Fighter.
I swear to God, if you say Street Fighter, I'm gonna punch you.
I'm gonna say Street Fighter. I'm sorry.
I hate you.
No, I would basically no. It's because again, like I said at the beginning, the biggest problem with the Street Fighter film is that they're making the film, they're centering the film around the wrong character. The film Street Fighter has to be about Ryu, the fucking Street Fighter. That is Ryu is the Street Fighter. That's the original title of the game is Street Fighter. Why? Because you play as Ryu. Ryu is the Street Fighter. That is the point of the game.
You're very passionate about this.
I know.
We're not counting animated ones then because Street
No.
The animated Street Fighters are fucking fantastic. I
Yeah,
love
that's
the
what I'm
shit
saying.
out of
I'm saying that every single live-action Street Fighter film has gotten it wrong, and it's gotten it wrong big time. I'm saying it's not difficult. You just have to do the correct things. Like for instance, Guile can be a colonel, but he has to be a secondary character. Chun-Li can be an Interpol agent, but again, she has to be a secondary character, and they all have to be working towards a common goal, which is the defeat of M. Bison and the Shadaloo organization, which you can utilize M. Bison and Balrog, and you can utilize Vega, and you can utilize Sadat.
So
Sagat.
what is Ryu's goal in Street Fighter? Just to fight?
I mean, he basically fights. It's the
Well, I
ultimate-
think I figured out why they can't do a movie around
you basically take the premise of the Street Fighter 2 animated film and just make it into a live action film. Because the Street Fighter 2 animated film was good. It was a great premise, and if you cast it correctly, it could be a great film.
That's fair. That's true.
Not difficult.
Why not make it follow his storyline with Akuma?
Well, I mean, again, you could still have it as first of all, you wouldn't put Akuma into the first film. You obviously want to aim for a trilogy, and obviously tease Akuma at the end of the second film.
Okay.
For a resolution in the third film. Or you could tease him at the end of the first one, have him come in as a secondary character in the second film, and have the resolution in the third film. I'm just saying, if you pace it correctly, and obviously put the characters in place where they need to be, there is no reason why this film wouldn't make bank. Of course, it would take a producer, a director, and a studio that knows what the hell they're doing with the source material.
The studio would never commit to three movies for something like that.
Especially with the track record it already has.
Well, okay, with the track record, yes. I'm just saying. If you asked me which one I would do, I'd do that one because if you'd asked me about 10 years ago, I would have said Super Mario Brothers. But oh god, Super Mario Brothers.
What's up, Nate?
Oh, I was just curious because I know the idea's been kicked around and they actually did a demo reel, I guess, for it. But what would you think about a Halo movie? You think that'd be does it have enough material, or would it just be action sequences with kind of wishy-washy plot?
I feel like you would have to expand on the
They
lore.
would have to do it from the book.
They'd have to, they'd have to pull from the novels.
They would have to pull from the
Because
novels.
again, if you went through the game, if you pulled source material just directly from the game, you'd maybe get about.
A good half
You would get a Michael Bay.
You would get half of Michael Bay.
You would get half of Michael Bay.
Half of Michael Bay that will hopefully be good.
You basically get to the shower scene in The Rock, and that's it.
Yeah.
No,
Like they kill off all the Marines and Michael Biehn.
Good callback, by the way. I was just thinking about that movie. It's a great movie.
Halo could be done, and again, if they draw from the source material of the novels, it could be amazing.
Yes.
The Karen
Again.
Travis novels were really good.
A lot of the expanded universe novels in that are really
They're
good.
really good.
Yeah.
But no, you say Street Fighter, I raise you Killer Instinct.
I mean, that's the thing. I love Killer Instinct. I would totally be on board for a Killer Instinct film. Why? Because I want to see Cinder and Glacius go at it. Cinder was my boy. Cinder was my boy.
I think I would have to say Dead Space. I would have been Dead Space.
Yeah! Oh
Yeah.
my god!
Dead Space.
That would actually be
Space 2
scary.
was amazing.
Like you want to talk a good horror film. There you go. Dead
Yeah.
Space.
Dead
would be
Space.
amazing.
Dead Space
Yes.
would be great.
Now, is that going to be painted as more of a atmospheric, or is that going to be more like jump scares?
What would you
If they did it right, which they would never do,
Yeah.
if they did it right, it would be both. They would set the atmosphere.
Think of like the first Resident Evil movie almost.
Yeah, they would set the atmosphere, and you would still get those jump scares, but it wouldn't just be jump scares.
You know who I would love to do a Dead Space film? The guy who did Dread.
I don't know who that was.
I'm just anybody
Dread?
here who here saw Dread? Okay, now just imagine
I expected
again.
more hands than that.
I mean,
Which movie was it?
Dread.
Dread.
Oh, yeah.
There you go, yeah!
I'm just saying, it's just like, for instance, the aesthetic, the fact that Dredd never removed his helmet, like,
Yes.
like that's always a big problem in films, is like the actors want to get their faces on the screen. Carl Urban was like, no, I'm keeping the helmet on the whole film, because he never takes his helmet off in the comics, why would I take it off right now?
So are we casting Carl Urban in my Dead Space movie? Because I'm down.
I mean, who else?
He doesn't have to talk.
That's
in the
true.
first game.
Let's go.
So, I can honestly, I would love to see them. The only other film, I mean, name me another film that you could pull off with a silent protagonist. Half-Life, maybe.
Legend of Zelda? Question mark?
Yeah, I would say.
I don't know if they would do a good Zelda movie.
No, I mean
don't think they
the
could capture
IGN
essence.
April Fool's thing was really freaking good. Kind of.
It had its very good points, but honestly,
Yeah, when I got like near the halfway point, it was like okay.
It's kind of get a little schmaltzy, and it's like, yeah.
What movie? Okay, what game do you think you can't do? You can't make a movie of it. No matter what you try to do, there will never be a movie of this game.
Tetris.
They did a movie on emojis. I believe they could pull off Tetris.
Oh god.
God,
They did a whole movie about emojis. We could pull off
They're already
Tetris.
planning on making Tetris movies.
Yeah,
like a
they
bunch
are.
Holy crap!
I mean, the emoji movie made money. Why not do Tetris?
I mean,
Sure, why not?
That's an that is a point that we live in a horrible society where we can honestly say, that the Emoji Movie made money. It should have made money. It should
Is
have
Adam
even
Sandler
existed.
going to be in the Tetris movie?
No.
I feel like that's an Adam Sandler movie.
We get Tetris emojis.
Tetris emoji.
I mean,
Maybe
like,
they can just
Gross.
build Tetris into the emoji movie sequel.
Killed him.
Other than Tetris, what do you think?
All right, so.
No, stop.
All right, so. Wait, what we're talking about now? We're talking about
What
films that could
game-
not be made.
You can't. There's no way.
Yeah, just no way. The Source Material is just bad for.
Although I don't know what we're gonna build off of because apparently they're making a fucking Tetris movie. So I literally don't know where we can go from here. I have no idea.
There is no bottom to this barrel.
You know, like I thought Tetris was rock bottom, and then nope, the bar got raised.
I would say at this point, the one film series that shouldn't, I think cannot and should not definitely be rebooted or remade, Mortal Kombat. I don't think we should bother anymore.
You know what?
They
No.
made the TV series?
I'll give him that only because the first one. We're not fuck the second one.
No.
Yeah.
I love the second one, but no. You could reboot the first one if you cast it correctly.
And here's my problem with. Oh, sorry.
Actually, quick question. Have you guys seen the YouTube series for Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, the.
Yes,
Yes.
if they did something like that,
If
they
they did
would do
something
good.
like that, they would be great.
Yeah, I don't know.
If they don't, it's
I
just
don't
gonna be
know.
garbage.
You know what? I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Michael J. White as Jax.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
my problem is that where it should be like it's set up like an action oriented film, and that's great. That's what it needs to be.
Yeah.
But they're changing so many elements around, and I don't know how to get on board with it. You know, I mean they're taking to me, at least to me, it feels like they're taking the supernatural element out of it. Am I wrong?
No, they had the
Am I wrong?
supernatural-
I'm just.
Yeah.
Did it?
They had
It
the
has supernatural.
Shao Kahn ripped souls out of dudes.
Yeah.
That was his like whole spiel.
I don't think you watched it.
Well, that's
long
like
enough to see that part.
supernatural.
I guess that's supernatural enough.
Yeah, I mean, he rips the soul out of that one.
But then again, I guess when okay, you're gonna have to help me again because I
Of
forget.
course, I got you, bud.
Annihilation.
And not.
Ah!
Yeah!
they started introducing the Elder Gods and trying to go through that whole backlore bullshit, that's when shit started to go sideways.
No, when they got in those fucking balls that apparently can shoot you through the earth.
Yeah.
That's where I was just like, I think I'm done. I think I'm just gonna sit back and enjoy the ride.
I felt, I mean, because, you know, they showed that really intimate scene with, you know, Liu Kang and Katana flying through one. It's like, oh, it's a moment between the two of them. And then I was like, oh, wait, isn't Raiden and Sonya in the other one? And didn't her boyfriend just get his neck okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
They played that Liu Kang Katana out shit way too long. Like, oh my god.
Okay, can we also talk about, as much as I would hate them to reboot Mortal Kombat, I really would, but if they killed Liu Kang off and brought back Zombie Liu Kang, like they do in the games, I'd kind of... Zombie Kang, I'd kind of be on board for that. Just because I love the fact that he just has chains and meat hooks. It's just like, he's great.
What's up?
Yes.
We were talking about what video games would be difficult to adapt. In my personal opinion, I think the best adapted video game was actually Angry Birds.
I was gonna actually bet.
That was a movie?
Yeah.
Where the fuck have I been?
It was actually pretty like it had a moral and it was pretty loose on the source material.
So it's a kids movie, basically.
Yeah.
It was a DreamWorks film, wasn't it?
Angry Birds have.
Angry Birds the game.
But like,
No,
that material
That's
the
the source.
movie ends with
Those 2 seconds.
birds crashing through the sky. It was awesome.
How long is that movie?
They stole it in 90 minutes. That was
Alright, so it was a recent release. That's
Okay, how long is it?
I think it's like 90 minutes.
So, somebody actually, you're telling me somebody actually went out, took a mobile game and turned it into a full-length film.
Yeah, good full-length
It's
film.
on Netflix
And
right
see,
now.
Is it?
Yes.
Alright, I know what
It's on Netflix streaming like right now.
Alright,
so when I get home, this is happening
Yes.
in Mag Prime, we're talking about
So
it.
that proves it can be done.
It can be done.
It can be done.
And apparently done well.
The most simple premise can be turned into a film, and apparently,
Here we come.
But why
I mean,
can't
come
Final
on.
Fantasy work?
They made Battleship.
Like,
Oh, they did make Battleship!
Battleship.
Battleship was a
Reality.
Oh, that was
And
awful.
Liam
Oh, that was
Neeson
so bad.
was
That was so
That
bad.
was a board game.
Yeah,
Okay.
Rihanna was in that one. That's
my
not
top,
top 5.
my top 5 has been changed.
Yeah,
Battleship is at number 2.
Battleship's gotta be out there.
But it was a board game based. It was board
It was a board game, but the fact that they took a board game and made it a movie, and they got Liam Neeson in it. Like, what the hell?
Alright, so
Huh?
he was working a DUI off. That's what it was.
Rihanna's in it?
Rihanna was
She's
in
in
it.
like an actual speaking role in this
Isn't
movie.
Channing Tatum in that movie too?
Seriously, she is.
So, okay.
Wait, who's the hunk lead star of that film? It's
It's Channing Tatum, isn't
no,
it?
no, not Channing Tatum. It's not Channing Tatum, but you know what? We're gonna call that guy Channing Tatum.
He knows.
I'm looking this up on IMDb.
Wait,
Oh,
but like
God.
Battleship.
I'm trying to think of what
you do with like
the game that I'm thinking
Sorry,
about.
Bejeweled?
How would you make it Bejeweled?
There you go.
How would you make a Bejeweled film?
They're making a Tetris film. They can pull it off sometime.
If they made an emoji movie, and
They
apparently
did.
they're making a Tetris movie, and apparently you can make a movie out of anything.
We stray farther
There's a
from
Candy
God's
Crush
life every
TV
day.
show.
What?
Candy
What?
Crush. There's
They
one.
did?
There's a Candy Crush TV.
Ryan.
Holy shit.
Game show.
I don't know. Then I don't think I can think of a game.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
I just
Slater from freaking Saved by the Bell.
That's amazing. I'm glad you put it to work. That's great.
Okay, I got it.
Wait, Mario
For
Lopez?
Battleship.
Yes.
The guy that was the sexy guy is Alexander Skarsgård.
I don't even know who that is.
Oh my god! What was it? True Blood. He was
He's a
Ben
really,
Affleck.
really sexy
Okay,
guy.
I'm sorry. Just
Okay, I know
for
who
the
you're
remainder of this
talking
panel,
about.
Alexander Skarsgård will be referred to as Channing Tatum. I'm sorry. I'm not going back. It's too good.
But you know,
Thank you, by the
but
way.
you know,
MVP of the panel, right there.
now that I've learned that there's a Tetris movie and a fucking Candy Crush game, TV show, I don't know if I can think of a game that can't be made into a. They're doing it. They made Tetris. You line up blocks. That's the whole game.
Wait, what about Harvest Moon or Farmville?
Farmville would make a
I think
good
make
kids
a good
film.
Harvest Moon movie.
This guy on the
Maybe.
farm, grow stuff, and like, I don't know,
Okay,
some weird
wait a minute.
thing
They're
I
making
got
a
an
Minecraft movie. Can we die, please?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh.
Oh,
Colin,
Microsoft.
we're gonna have to do a longer panel at Mag Prime about movies we hate because we're getting a lot.
No movie
to add.
concepts.
Well, fine.
Wait.
What if we look at the other end? Instead of lack of source material, what if we look at movies were live action, there's no way you could possibly capture the essence of that video game. Let's look at it from that angle.
Ooh. Okay.
What about World of Warcraft? They tried that.
And that was an awful movie.
Warcraft's
I think that.
I actually saw that movie. It wasn't any good.
No, they're garbage.
Oh, see, well, there we go. Like,
Yeah.
Like Square made a joke in Life is Strange about their movie.
I think the bigger the source material, the harder the movie is to make.
Yeah.
So for
Like
World of Warcraft,
the more complex the film is, like the more backstory there has to be for you to understand what's going on. That's going to make a movie impossible because there's no way they're going to be able to condense it into a 90-minute film.
But you know, Disney's gonna do it probably one day with like Kingdom Hearts.
I would watch the shit out of a Kingdom Hearts movie.
Okay, but
If
that's
they
the
did
thing.
it right.
You would totally watch the shit out of the Kingdom Hearts movie, but the problem is, in 10 years, you're going to be back at this panel and you're going to be saying, the Kingdom Hearts film is the biggest piece of shit that's ever existed. Why? Because I've played all the games and I still don't understand what the fuck's going on in it.
I know. So when Kingdom Hearts 3 drops, I'm gonna have to read so many Wikipedia articles just to catch up. What's up?
So you could totally do a Combs movie, being in Egypt, say we settle our differences with gems. They already do it with cards, they do it with gems too.
There you go.
What about a Minesweeper movie?
Oh.
Already been done. College humor did it.
I just learned how to play Minesweeper like a year ago. I had no idea. I thought you literally just clicked the buttons and hoped for the best. No idea there was a strategy.
We've sort of looked back into like things that could be like movies, and I was actually thinking like Wolfenstein, like the new reboot, because it's got a villain you love to hate, it's got like action sequences, it's got plot and like drama.
So I feel if they did a Wolfenstein movie, it depends on who they cast. If you don't cast the right people, that movie's just going to be.
That movie's going to.
I mean, in this current time frame, it's not that hard to make Nazis enemies.
Yeah.
It's really not.
But I think the reason you have to get the right person to play in that movie is because the game itself doesn't even take itself too seriously. So you would have to find an actor that could take himself not serious and still be a badass.
Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum? Maybe.
Channing Tatum. I would go Carl Urban.
Carl Urban I think could do it.
Carl Urban.
I think of video game adaptation that needs to happen, considering I just played it this morning. A Dance Dance Revolution musical.
Oh wow.
Musical?
A musical?
A Dance Dance Revolution music.
Has there ever been a video game musical?
Isn't it their movie Just Dance?
No.
Or is that
If you don't
It's not like
if you don't count the Proto Men, Acts 1 and 2, then no, there hasn't been. But I would the Proto Men. Because they essentially claim that is a musical. I mean, they obviously aren't doing live numbers
Isn't
on
it
Broadway.
opera?
What? I mean,
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. You'd actually have to ask them how they classify it. But like, I feel like that in itself is.
I feel like I called it an opera in the interview, so I hope I didn't offend them.
No,
Yeah.
semantics at that
I feel
point.
like the DDR movie would have to be like cyberpunk, like space kind of.
Okay,
thing. Like
you know
they're
what?
in, like space stations and there's like colors.
Oh, like that
and,
one Disney movie. What was it called?
Turn the Planet?
No, they had that song like Supernova Girl. Come on.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, it was like an old straight to TV
Like,
movie.
Yeah, Xenon in the 21st century.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah. Well, that's because if you do it, so Xenon. God damn it! I can't believe this is actually a conversation I'm having. So Xenon Girl in the 21st century was what you're kind of going with. They were in the future. They had the bright colors and all that, and they had catchy music and dancing. So if you could capture that kind of essence into a DDR movie, I think you could pull it off.
Okay, you know what?
And I cannot believe that was a conversation that I just had. Never thought that would happen to me. I pulled an old reference.
Oh yeah.
I do have a film that I would love to see made, but would never happen.
What's that?
Which one?
All right, who here has ever played Shakan the Forever Man for the Sega Genesis?
Oh wow.
Now I would.
remember the name.
Thank you.
So hard.
I would love to see that film made, but it ain't ever gonna happen.
No.
Cause just for those of you who aren't in the know, Shakan the Forever Man is basically you are an undead warrior. You have bested death, but you cannot die until you have defeated evil. That's the premise of the game. You gotta kill every piece of evil in the world before you can die.
So what, you go to hell and fight Satan? Is that
No. You beat death, so you have to travel the world and kill all evil in the world in order to die.
This sounds like a Flash premises, you know that, right?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you can do like
I'm
this
just saying.
around the world in 80 days kind of thing.
This
Yeah,
sounds
that
like
shit
the
thing.
premise of Cthulhu Saves the World. Like,
I'm just saying I mean, honestly, it's the hardest Genesis game I've ever played in my life, and I think people in here can back me up on that.
Wait,
Yeah.
harder than Shinobi?
I would honestly go on record and say harder than Shinobi. Not because Shinobi isn't hard, Shinobi's hard, but the problem is, and you guys, again, back me up on this, I've played through like the first level of the game and like gotten through it all and then moved on to the second level, but if you don't beat the second level within an ascribed time limit, it sends you all the way back to the beginning.
Damn, I'm done. I don't want to ever play
Exactly,
this.
and I'm just like, I like literally, I'm like fighting my way, I'm like halfway through like the second rung of villains, and then like the hourglass runs out, and I'm like, what is this? It like blips me back to the main level, and all my progress has been reset. And I'm just like, are you fucking serious? This is the one time I've ever snapped a cartridge in half.
Oh.
Your protagonist
If you can't
messes
die,
up
then
and you start at the beginning of the movie.
What?
If you're not able to die, does it have a health bar?
I mean, you got like 5 or 6 like little skulls, and like you lose parts every time you take damage. But I mean, you basically you get sent back to the beginning of the level.
Oh,
And you don't have a game over. It's just one of those games. You
like
basically
Groundhog
play as long as you can possibly mentally withstand the ability to play. And then again, in my case, I just like rip the cartridge out. Yes.
did any of you watch Edge of Tomorrow?
Was that the Tom Cruise?
Tom
movie?
Cruise?
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that just like the
Live,
premise
die,
of, like,
repeat.
Yeah, but like the premise of like a modern first-person shooter as a film, because it's like big crazy aliens, lots of action sequences. The guy respawns every time he dies.
So it would be the Halo movie.
Well, I mean, essentially, it's like
Yeah,
a
It
generic
would be
Halo
any
movie,
first-person
like-
shooter, the movie.
That's fair.
Well, it's just like, but when you die, you start at the beginning of the level, and so it's just
Yeah, like-
level memorization.
So it's like
Yeah,
Dark Souls almost.
exactly.
Yeah, it is.
Dark
Dark Souls would
movie.
be a good movie.
Oh,
I actually think that would
die
kind of
left and right.
flop. I don't think it would translate.
Oh, I think it would be terrible, but I would still watch that shit.
It would probably be better as a web
Bloodborne.
series.
Mm-hmm.
You know what is? Let me ask a question in the room here, and I think we're coming up right on the end of our time limit.
Yeah, we still got to do our shameless plugs for our other panels.
Yeah. Basically, be here tomorrow at. Amanda, you got the schedule. You can let me know.
Oh yeah.
All right.
I think they're Amanda's panels too.
Yeah.
So
Well, a
if you
lot of
wanna
them
come,
are hers, so yeah.
Like all my panels.
All right.
Yeah.
So let me get this last question out though, because I want to get the room's feel on this. So we're talking about first-person shooters. The film Edge of Tomorrow being an example of that. Doom is another one. At least the last 20 minutes of Doom. But yeah, so
I told
let
you
me
I
ask you a
could do it.
question. So franchises like Call of Duty,
No.
Battlefield,
No.
and
I like
the only modern first-person shooter franchise that I honestly would say could even possibly be translatable as a film would be what is it? Battlefield Bad Company?
Okay,
Yeah,
it doesn't
Battlefield
matter
Bad
what
Company.
first-person shooter you say right now. Just watch Saving Private Ryan, and you
Or the
basically
Dirty Dozen.
have
Or the Dirty Dozen.
the Dirty Dozen, and you basically have any shooter that they could make.
I mean, yeah, because essentially all the
Perfect Dark?
first-person shooters currently are just
Perfect
drawn-
Dark would be good. I would see a Perfect Dark film.
No,
Oh,
see, yeah, you got
yes.
okay. I would see a Perfect Dark film.
As long as they didn't cast Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
No, you know what they should cast is Scarlett Johansson.
Not again.
Really? You don't think so?
I've seen her play the same role in
The Avengers, any of
no,
the
no.
freaking MCU films.
No, I've seen her play the same role that she would play in Perfect Dark in what's Ghost in the Shell.
Lucy. Oh.
Alright.
I really want
She would play the same exact character.
Right, I'm just saying, yeah, it's so basically, yeah.
I just
Extra
watched
virgins
her.
or-
You brought up Call of Duty, but did you play Infinite Warfare? Because
That's a space one, right?
yeah, like
I just love the hate. That's the space one, right?
But it was actually kind of an interesting plot and like set it. Like
No, no,
they set it up.
I'm not saying
Yeah.
Infinite Warfare couldn't pan out. I'm talking like the same cookie cutter first person shooters that are set in the modern era. I mean, like right now you go off to some random third world /
Place with
Middle
lots of
Eastern
sand.
country and just,
Yeah.
shoot the same progression of, terrorists, Russians.
So what you're talking about is American Sniper or like
American Sniper,
Or,
Saving Private Ryan,
Sandcastle.
Dirty Dozen.
I'm just
yeah,
saying, if you took
War
a film
Machine.
based on those franchises,
Well, the franchises are inherently bland and vanilla about these things that are already movies that exist because the concept already is there. Like
Precisely. It's just in those other films they tend to center on one person, whereas the video game universe tends to center on the people you're surrounded by.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and he's right. Honestly, Saving Private Ryan, like films like Saving Private Ryan,
Such a
The
good
Dirty
movie.
Dozen, those
Okay.
films have done it correctly, and did it before most of those video games came out. So you can pretty much watch any of those and get
But
the
I
chance.
do like the fact that games like Battlefield and Call of Duty have kind of come into their own to make themselves almost like a movie. Because like you were saying, Infinite Warfare, it had a great premise, it had a star-studded cast. I mean, Kit Harington was in it, for the love of God.
Yeah.
And they did a good job of making it like a playable movie.
Yeah,
Almost like Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yeah, the setting was just like in Infinite Warfare was just really cool.
Mass Effect would not make a good movie.
Yeah,
It would not.
I disagree because they could rewrite it.
No, actually,
Could rewrite- yeah, they'd have to rewrite that.
There you go.
I have one caveat that I will watch a Mass Effect movie if it's Male Chef and Garrus. That I can deal with.
Yeah.
Because that's the OTP.
Well, I'm just saying, we were just saying that it's like we can make a Mass Effect film because we can finally rewrite the ending and make it good.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I think you're the last
Yeah,
question.
so last one. So
Yeah.
we gotta wrap it up.
Yeah, sorry, I just came in, so I missed this is largely about the Mass Effect thing. That games of its ilk, where you can customize the major character, I think will not work as movies specifically for that reason.
I mean, the
That's
experience,
fair.
yeah, because the experience in games like Mass Effect, or really any first-person shooter, is your
Mass Effect is
experience.
third person.
Whatever.
I'm just helping.
I know, I appreciate it, but I'm trying to get this done.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But anyway, but in films like that, it's all how you experience the environment.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Any video game is really that, just how you personally experience what's going on. Any film is gonna detract from that process because it's a set guide. Like any video game film will automatically detract from that, and thus you can't really follow those guidelines because it's gonna change your perception. It's gonna set you along a linear path instead of
Right.
a free-ranging path.
And add a note to that. Personally, in regards to Mass Effect 3's ending, for what I wanted to accomplish with my playthrough, the ending did its job.
Okay, so which ending did you choose?
Red.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Destroy, I always go red. Because that's the only one that makes sense in my head.
Renegade for life.
I'm not a renegade character though. I'm
It's
mostly
cool.
Paragon.
It's
It's just
nice.
that the red ending is the only one that makes sense.
I
to
know.
me.
I totally get you. All right, I'd love to talk more about this. So actually, we're gonna wrap it up now because
Yes.
we're actually going over.